So something that you said a moment ago about someone that saw you 6 years ago, she botched your joke, and how you were like, "Oh, that's my craft, that's my thing." I think more people. So I'm gonna put this on the business side of it, right? A lot of people will allow a host of a show or someone else butcher their introduction, butcher a story about them, tell something about them that they didn't live with them. So it's just their interpretation of this, probably long-winded from 17 other interviews that they watched. And like, oh, this is what I think it is. I think more people need to own their narrative and get in front of it a lot, so that that thing from a repetition perspective is what they remember, right? And especially in a comedy world, I can imagine that you want that person to tell that joke, absolutely. You want that person to remember comedian Allison Moore, absolutely. But also in that, you want that joke to be pushed the right way, that narrative to be pushed the right way, so that it's not wrong and it's not butchered, so that people aren't sitting there going, well, that wasn't funny. Yeah, well, yeah, it wasn't funny because you don't know how to tell the damn joke.
Right.
So
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's so personal because it's like every comma, every time I in that sentence, that 11-word sentence, where I paused, where I said and, where I made a facial expression, those things make a difference. Like I literally sat down and thought and tried, or it didn't work one time. I had to go to a new place to figure out the placement and the sentence structure and the timing. So don't mess this up. Like get it right, tag on it. And then literally them air bubbles might make the difference between me getting $1 million Netflix special or not. So again, don't mess it up.
where are the
But
air bubbles?
it
Question
depends
mark.
on.
Yeah, you got. I was pausing there. You
Oh,
didn't
okay.
give me enough time to pause.
I'm
18
sorry. That's
minutes
a
and
part of my nervous
18,
condition. Okay, do it
18
again.
minutes and 37 seconds is what it took for comedian Allison Moore to give me a legit laugh.
Oh
I'm
wow.
excited about that. I didn't know if it
Oh
would happen
wow.
at all.
Okay, well, so Zach, you never really the standard, but I appreciate you letting me know how long it took. Like you would be the people, and see, you not the audience that I would go to. See, there are different type of
Yeah,
comedians, and
I
they
don't have
be.
HR, so
You say you don't have HR.
it's a
What
bad
you
joke.
mean?
I mean,
So here you go to my. It took you 18 minutes. It took you a whole 30-minute sitcom to make me laugh, and then look at you. See, you shouldn't be judgmental. You shouldn't be judgmental.
I'm I'm
Who
leaving.
who who would be your dream client? Would it be some seasoned, stodgy legal firm that you know that man, these people are like set in their ways, and or would it be a younger what's I don't know what the new Gen whatever group is, the younger than the millennials group, Gen Z. I don't know, but
Yeah.
who's your client that you would like to that you're looking for?
The client that's not going to give me the most drama and is going to cash the check first, really. And then I'll reverse engineer and say, well, what is it about me that you love? Because I want to get more of yous. So I think, it just depends, because the people who are, like you said, stodgy and resistant to change, if they are at this point where they brought me in, then they are ready for some kind of change. And they might not have as many opinions. They're just like, just hurry up and give it to me. Just I'm closing my eyes. Just go ahead, give it to me so we can get it over with. Which might be easier for me to, all right, what are your challenges? You feel like that you've gotten a lot of complaints about this, this, and this, or recruiting is a hard thing for you, or retaining whatever it is. I'll put some video series together, give it to them, and off they go, because they just at that point they trusted me. Whereas the younger generation, they might be more high maintenance, like, not necessarily the younger generation, but just a different audience or client may say, "Well, can you rechange the lighting on that? Because we was like, girl, if you don't get this DEI content, leave me alone now." So just trying to balance, and that's from that back end standpoint. I like the people who it was the easiest to do, and you can't really tell that until the end of it, which is why I like working with my clients multiple times. And I'll take a shorter thing up front to understand if I am good to serve them and vice versa before I get into this long-term situation. And so that's more my preference.
What do you do unique content for each
Yeah.
performance? You do.
Oh, for each performance. Okay, so I do a couple of different things. If you're talking about, are you talking about like just going from comedy
From
club to
from
comedy club?
no, from company to company. Do you have, is it the
Okay.
same? Well, because it is a performance. I don't even look at
Yeah.
it as a training session.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I do different things. Yes, depending on, some people they hire me because they're having some kind of event. Maybe it's their annual employee something, something all day, whatever. I do a lot of those. People bring me in at some point, whether in the morning or the afternoon after lunch, to pick everybody up before they go back into their yearly boring blah blah blahs. And so I might do like some comedic motivational talk, 30-minute piece there in the morning, or host that type of situation. So that's a way that an organization regularly uses me, especially on like this live performance type space. Or they have, so like Ferguson and Apex are two of my recent clients where I created a video series that I gave them that they use internally to have conversations, or to say that they're having conversations with their employees about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you hire me like as an individual person to come there, or we're creating video content. And that was where I've been like, the pandemic has helped me pivot and evolve in this space of like, oh, this is how I can make my same energy and efforts scalable, putting it
Mm-hmm.
into a video series. And then we have like a course and a workbook. And so I'm like, well, how can I get this content? Who qualifies? And my team is like, don't you got a master's degree? Oh, me. Oh, that's called imposter syndrome. Okay, I got it. We could do this. So it's like, my creative, because I like bringing the laughter and all that stuff, energy. I'm still able to do it, but in a way that I can get paid multiple times. And so now people are reaching out, because some organizations, they want to say that like they need these monthly trainings, or these monthly, because they fall into professional development and that kind of space. And then some other ones want to say they want to sponsor it because they want to show that they believe in, not just we want our employees to go through this training, but they believe in the error as well. They want to be on top
Mhm.
of the branding that, hey, we are definitely a company that supports the advancement of our minority communities, and this is what one way in which we sponsor this such and such. Am I answering, like, I don't
No,
know if I'm
you are.
answering
I
y'all
mean,
right? Okay.
no, I mean, because I think that this is fascinating, just in the
Oh, thank
sense
you.
of, I mean, because when we last saw each other 2 years ago, I mean, this wasn't even
A
part of the
thing.
discussion. Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
we
so
were
that
trying to
was my
figure out a
next
business model.
question, right? Is did it take the pandemic for you to realize that you could have corporate clients that were in need of video series
No, it didn't take the pandemic for me to realize that I can do that. It took the pandemic for
to
me to
actually do it?
realize what I could give them. So
Okay.
like I already knew before the pandemic that, like, yo, I got HR. I don't cuss and I'm funny. I could do something for them. What is it? And then, things come to you, but sometimes you don't always see it. Like
Right.
the coffee thing really came out of that experience that I was telling you about. So now I go back and I don't have coffee. I didn't even think about how you get why coffee, girl. It was just, that don't sound witty. The audience was laughing. I was like,
But you know
yo,
what? I mean, to your point, though, even if you had something, you have a bag of the coffee over your shoulder, even if you had on the back of the label some points, some bullet points of the material that you
Mhm.
left behind, that's a, we'll
mhm,
talk about a great leave
yeah,
behind it. Then
it's like
everyone looks at it.
inspirational stuff up here.
Exactly. I mean, to
Uh-huh.
me, it all works. So, I mean, and it's the unfortunate timing of events and things that have happened that really has pushed how important your message is. And I mean, it just,
Right.
I don't, I mean, I don't have HR either, Zach, so don't feel bad about that. But I mean, I would, if you have the ability just to even look at some of the material that you offer, I would be really interested in that because, I mean, I'll talk to somebody and be like, someone will come back to me and be like, Tim, that's this white privilege talking. And it's just like, I don't even, where do I go to learn that kind of
Yeah.
stuff? You know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, that's the stuff
Okay,
I'm
so let me,
interested in.
right there, Tim, because I have, and I start to understand people through my relationships with them in comedy and how they rock with me, like when I'm just doing regular jokes. And I
Mhm.
know that I have, and so because of which although I don't have that many non-Black friends, I have non-Black audience members that I take away from, and I can feel what they're saying. So I know I had some of my non-Black, my white brothers and sisters who was rocking with me. And then when I started wearing Black Please stuff, they were like, "Whoa, what do you mean? What is that?" And I could feel like, okay, well, you were the same person that was really laughing and so entertained by me before I got into the race conversation. So it wasn't that my mere presence made you feel weird. It's the conversation in itself. You just don't, what are you gonna say that my grandma was racist because she made me blueberry pie and I love my grandma. She was racist. She a good person. Like, wait, before we go there, just hold on. But there is this fear of, if I come across as a bad person, what does that mean to me? What does that mean to you? And I just feel like, I don't know, that I'm the type of person that can just kind of help. Let's hold hands before we get there. We can walk through it, which is why I can have this conversation.
Isn't there some